Well, look, it's Spider-Man's world, and at this point, we're all just, temporary occupants in it, because not only did it come out and set the all-time opening weekend box office record with $360 million, which is just absurd, became one of the fastest films ever to reach $1 billion. It's already like doing crazy numbers because it just had its second weekend, and it just had the third biggest second weekend in movie history. And whereas Spider-Man No Way Home, because of how much money it made on its opening weekend, it had a 70% drop off in its second weekend. Understandable, because so many people already saw it. Spider-Man Brand New Day only took a 59% drop. A 59% drop, despite the fact that it had a $360 million opening weekend. Again, making it the third biggest second weekend of all time. Only behind Avengers Endgame, which had a bigger second weekend, and Star Wars The Force Awakens, which had a bigger second weekend. And that's it. So it just continues to pile in the money. And as such, today, ladies and gentlemen, Spider-Man Brand New Day will cross into the top 10 all-time movies ever. It's happening today. These numbers are as of yesterday. But right now, when you look at the biggest films of all time, as of yesterday, Spider-Man Brand New Day sits in the number 11 spot with $1.665 billion. I don't think I'm going out on a massive limb here to guess that Spider-Man's going to make more than $10 million today. I think that one's pretty safe. So I'm going to call it, as we go out on this ledge here, Spider-Man is going to cross and surpass Jurassic World today to become the number 10 film. And then in the next day or two, it'll probably cross Inside Out. And then not too long after that, it'll pass Zootopia. Anyway, we also see at number 7, Spider-Man No Way Home at $1.9 billion. Avengers Infinity War at $2.05 billion. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens at $2.07 billion. Titanic at $2.2 billion. Avatar, The Way of Water, $2.3. Avengers Endgame at $2.7, basically $2.8. And of course, Avatar is still the highest grossing film of all time at $2.9. When Spider-Man today, probably already by now, by the time we're recording this, when Spider-Man does make $10 million more and passes Jurassic World, it will have crossed the top 10 and crossed into the top 10 all-time box office films in just 13 days. 13 days to become one of the top 10 all-time biggest. It is absolutely nutty. Now, for me, the big question that this film proposes now, as far as its success, is this. Can it catch Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, as the biggest film at the domestic box office in history? I still think that's a question mark. I know there are some people think it's a foregone conclusion, and listen, there are good reasons to think that. There are totally some solid reasons to have that assumption. But it is right now pacing $100 million ahead of Star Wars The Force Awakens. But that pace has diminished. It was, after its first weekend, like $180-something million ahead of pace of Star Wars The Force Awakens. That pace gap has now been shrinking. As a matter of fact, you just saw the numbers we talked about. Star Wars The Force Awakens actually had a bigger second weekend than Spider-Man did. It's still on pace, but can it get to that to become the highest grossing domestic film of all time? Of course, Star Wars The Force Awakens sits at like $900 and something million domestically alone. Now, the analysts at this moment are projecting that Spider-Man will probably get around to the $2.5 billion mark, which, I mean, that is just a number I can barely wrap my head around. If it does indeed get to $2.5 billion, that'll make it the third biggest film of all time. Some people think it'll go past that. Some people think it won't quite get to that, but it's certainly pacing, and we'll see where it gets. But again, to me, it's about, can it catch that domestic number and pass Star Wars? Again, it's ahead of pace, guys, but the pace is slowing and the pace is shrinking. So, Kristian, let me put this over to you. We've talked before about Spider-Man and just how ridiculous the success this film is having. It's obviously maintaining its legs, just under a 60% drop going into its second weekend. It's already joined the $1 billion club. As of today, it's going to cross into the top 10. Anyway, what is the most significant number here? And now that we've had a couple of weekends of its track record for us to watch, how big can this movie end up being, do you think?
The significant number is the one you didn't mention. And that's the worldwide drop was only like 49% or something.
Yeah, it's got great legs overseas.
Yeah. So the entire thing it was a crazy drop, because I think that number, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that number did beat Star Wars as far as the overall did. But the fact that you now have the domestic side of things, I think it'll get close to The Force Awakens. Analysts, as you said, said that it's probably going to tap out at 2.5. Well, analysts said it was going to be 550 million opening weekend. So they were way off. I don't take too much stock in that anymore, because I think that more people want to go and see this movie. More people are excited to see this movie. More people are repeat viewing. More people are now seeing it in IMAX. I think that the first, as I mentioned this a few times, I think that the first $3 billion movie will be this year, but it's going to be Endgame when it re-releases. That releases in theaters in September. That will be the first $3 billion movie. Now, the crazy thing, I'm with you, John, on this, that I don't think that it could happen, but we are in an area and a crazy world where there are 3 movies that potentially could eventually all reach $3 billion starting in the same year. There's a chance with Spider-Man, although I think it's going to tap out at around 2.7, if you're going to ask me, but there's a chance. Endgame will hit that 3 billion this year. And then Doomsday could take all of this, depending on what Endgame then does with that extra footage.
Yes. You're talking about you're talking about Endgame Encore adding to the existing box office.
Correct.
Right. Actually, here's the thing though. I think because they're releasing it, now I'm going to need somebody to correct me on this, but I believe because they are adding extra footage and changing the name to Avengers, I don't know that it's going to count towards its box office. I'm not saying it won't. Don't quote me on that. I'm just saying I think I heard a question raised about that, and I'm not actually sure what the answer is.
It's like Barry Bonds steroids. Barry Bonds steroids.
I don't know, because I'm looking at No Way Home, and they added new footage to that, and it counts it as you can break it down to the 22, 24, and 25 re-release, but when you go to all releases, that 1.9 is counting that.
Well, and to that point, when they did the re-release of the 4-hour extended cuts of the Lord of the Rings films, they also counted that. The big difference that somebody brought up to me that I simply don't have the answer for, again, I'm not saying it is or isn't, I'm just saying I don't have the answer, is that they are literally giving it kind of a different title. They're calling it Endgame Encore. Right. And again, I just don't know the answer to that. But
I think because it's the same movie essentially.
Yeah, if it does, you could be right here, Kristian. This thing could theoretically cross. And the thing that's going to do it is the fact that they're teasing this little post-credit scene that'll tie into Doomsday.
And if it is effective and it does put the viewers back in the seat and get it to that point, that's going to help Doomsday significantly.
Yeah. And that's the thing we've been saying for a long time, is that the biggest thing that Doomsday is either going to help or hurt it is Spider-Man. If Spider-Man comes out and is a big disappointment, it's going to hurt Marvel's momentum in general, and it's going to hurt Doomsday. But if Spider-Man is great, it's going to be the best piece of marketing that they could possibly have for Doomsday.
Yeah. This is from The Independent, and it says that the box office revenue for Avengers Endgame Encore will be tracked and added to the overall lifetime box office. Of the
there you go.
Following standard industry and box office reporting tracking practices for theatrical re-releases. That's The Independent.
There you go. I have no reason to refute that. So there you have it. It will actually add to the domestic or to the overall box office of that, which could theoretically, will $200 million worth of people want to go out to see a movie that they can watch on Disney Plus right now?
But you can't though. You can't see this one on Disney Plus. That's the whole trick.
Not this version of it.
Not this version of it. And this is and I keep saying this, as we're even though there were all these movies that came out after No Way Home, Spider-Man Brand New Day is a direct sequel to No Way Home. After you see this credit scene in Endgame, Doomsday is going to essentially serve as a direct sequel. Sure, there are other things that happen in Marvel. Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, all that stuff. In the sense, because I had someone who say like, "Well, it can't be a direct sequel because all these other things and they have all these different characters in it." Well, the Hulk and Punisher showed up in Brand New Day. It was still a direct sequel. It's a direct sequel. So on the as of today, one of the biggest box office movies, number 2 as of today, probably number 1 real soon. And if it is number 1, you're putting that sequel out there and pushing people towards it. I think it will hit that 200 million. I think worldwide people will want to see what the hell is going to happen.
Yeah, that's why. Go ahead, John.
I also believe that just like with the Odyssey showing that exclusive footage of Dune Messiah or Dune Part 3, I fully believe that they are going to be releasing exclusive Doomsday footage in front of Encore.
Yeah, probably. And listen, I remember like it has been a big topic that a lot of people write into question about. Is it possible? Like a lot of people believe that Spider-Man Brand New Day could actually end up being the bigger film of the year over Doomsday. And my response to that has always been, well, okay, take everything else out of it. The thing is, the better Spider-Man is, the bigger Doomsday will be because it's going to get everybody hyped about Marvel again. And so I agree with Kristian. I think at the end of the day, the number 1 film of the year is still going to be Doomsday. I still think that's not really a question, no matter how big Spider-Man is. If Spider-Man gets to that 2.7 million, I kind of agree with the 2.5, but Kristian, I think you could be onto something with the 2.7. Even if it gets 2.8, I still think Doomsday is going to be bigger, and partially because Spider-Man was so good.
Yeah.
So it's, oh yeah.
But John, you and I said this last time, and we stick by it, right? Like it also is all about how good Doomsday is. That's it. Doomsday's got to be a good movie. It can't just be subpar because no matter what, the IP can only carry so much. If the first reactions and reviews come out and it's like it's fine, then that's going to hurt it dramatically. Still do well.
That makes Secret Wars even scarier though if it gets.
Oh yeah,
like,
I mean, I think its opening weekend is going to be insane regardless.
Yeah.
But once the opening weekend happens, because everybody's going to go see it, everybody's going to have their ticket spot long before the first reactions and the first reviews come out. But the thing is, once the opening weekend happens, if the movie's on par with the running average of the other Avengers movies in quality, sky's the limit.
Totally.
Yeah.
If it's Captain America 4, you're talking about a 75% drop in weekend 2.
I just think that Russos have a better hold on the Marvel universe.
I agree.
But as far as Secret Wars go, Jonathan, what I would combat you there is what Secret Wars has that Doomsday doesn't is Spider-Man.
Yes. Yeah.
And and they're going to market the shit out of Spider-Man on them, especially now. He's going to be all over Secret Wars. Even if Doomsday doesn't perform, this will be essentially the sequel for not really as far as story goes, but it'll be the first time you see him since this $2.7 billion movie comes out.
Right. Yep.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? Spider-Man Brand New Day just had a ridiculous second weekend. It's the 3rd biggest second weekend in history. Today, it's going to join the top 10 films of all time, which is crazy, doing it in just 13 days. How big do you think it can actually end up being? We're getting a sense of its pacing right now. We've now got 2 weekends under our belts. How big now do you think this movie can be? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Ultra Pouches. A lot of people use nicotine thinking it'll give them a little extra focus or even help before a workout. But nicotine is a vasoconstrictor. It narrows your blood vessels and can actually work against that pump and recovery that you're looking for. That's where Ultra Pouches come in. What you're really going to like about them is that they're 100% nicotine-free and caffeine-free. They're designed to give you smooth energy and focus without the nicotine crash. Pop one in before a workout or when you're sitting down for a long work session, and it's an incredibly convenient little boost. Ultra is the ultimate guilt-free pouch, delivering instant focus and mental clarity without nicotine or caffeine. New customers can use the code CAMPEA to get 15% off at takeultra.com. That's TAKEULTRA.com for 15% off with the code CAMPEA. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that our show sent you.